Hi, Crystal.
Hi.
Thanks for coming on my podcast.
Of course, super excited. This is only my second podcast.
Okay, wait, what was your first podcast?
It was with Jen Shi. She's actually also like a startup founder in SF.
Wait, I don't know who I was talking to, but
Offney?
Maybe?
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. I was talking to someone yesterday that asked me if I know her. And I was like, she sounds so familiar. And so, wow, that's so weird that you're the second person in like 24 hours to bring her up.
Yeah.
Jen, I
maybe
gotta meet you.
it's a sign.
yeah. No, it means I gotta meet her.
She might be here for Tech Week.
Okay.
Yeah,
what did she start?
Okay. I think it's kind of like she has like a community of like, it's like mostly just like women in tech.
Okay.
And like she helps, I know part of her thing, I don't really know the full thing, is to help women just like feel comfortable in the tech space, like connecting people to like mentors and just having that community.
Yeah. Okay. I want to meet her.
Yeah,
but that's so fun.
Yeah.
Okay. And so second podcast, but you're a creator. So I feel like you're used to being on camera and you're used to filming like videos and TikToks and all of that. And you have a YouTube channel also, right?
Haven't done it in a long time.
But that was like your first stint in
Mm-hmm.
social media, right?
Yeah, like Instagram and YouTube, and then over time TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you prefer TikTok over YouTube, or like why do you make the shift?
Yeah, I mean, like personally, I love watching long form content, but I think just working full time, it's a lot easier to do short form content just because it's a lot easier to film. Editing YouTube takes a very long time and currently don't have that bandwidth. It's just funny though, because like I do vlog a lot of like different memories and like different trips, but I've just never edited, so it's just all on my SD card.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you still do that? Like
I still do it. Yeah.
Do you plan on like uploading it one day or?
I think I always tell myself I want to, because whenever I'm on a trip, especially, I'm like, this is like great for the memories, and like I feel a lot more inspired to create content. I don't know if you feel the same way. And so I'll whip up the camera and then I'll tell myself I'll edit it that week, and then work gets busy and it never happens.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Do you know Claudia Saluski?
Yes.
So she does, I mean, I don't know her personally, but I love her content. And she's been doing monthly videos, monthly vlogs.
Oh, okay.
So she just does one vlog a month.
Oh.
And it's like a bunch of clips from that month. And she puts a lot of time and effort into that one video. But I feel like it's so much more doable if it's something that like you're too busy to do weekly content. Or I don't know about you, but sometimes I'll feel like I am filming just for the sake of filming, and then I put out content I'm not very proud of.
Yeah, I feel that.
I want to stop doing that because I think it just like dilutes the brand, I guess.
Yeah,
or like
definitely.
People then are like, wait, this kind of sucks. I'm not going to come back.
Yeah.
But also, I think when you're first starting, it's important to just like get a bunch of content out, because
like consistency.
Yeah, consistency is the most important thing. So it's that balance of like, okay, I want to be consistent, but I also want to put out good content.
Yeah.
And when you don't have time.
Yeah, because then I'm also like, I feel like I hold myself to high standards. Like I do the thing too on Instagram and TikTok where if I upload something and then I look at it and I'm like, I'm not really happy, I will archive it.
Oh, really?
Which I know I should stop doing, but I feel like it's just hard. I like critique myself on a lot of the content that I create. And I think it's just hard, but I need to let go of that.
What do you critique yourself on? Like just the editing or the filming, or like what's the thing that you look at the most?
Yeah, I think sometimes I'm like, is this really interesting to like someone that's watching it? Like, is it too long? And then, or it's like different clips and I'm like, wait, that I should have like maybe added like text for that or something like that. I don't know. I think I overthink a lot of things.
Yeah. So would you consider yourself like a perfectionist?
I think so. I've over time stopped being as perfectionist, I guess you could say, as I used to be. I think especially in college, I used to try to take control of like my schedule and like a lot of stuff. But I think now it's just you learn to let go as your life gets busier.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think you can't be a perfectionist in content creation.
Yeah, definitely not.
Because
it's a work of art.
Yeah, and you're putting out so much content nowadays. Like now you have podcasts, reels, TikToks, YouTube, everything. And like if you are a perfectionist, you're just never going to upload anything.
Yeah.
I think you can be more perfectionist if you're uploading less content and it's more valuable. Like if you're doing a short film or something like that, like look at the little details. But when you're just posting stuff that people are consuming in 30 seconds and they're quickly scrolling away from it, it does not have to be perfect.
Yeah, because like at the end of the day, people's attention spans are so small too. And I think I have to remind myself that I am probably looking at the nitpicky details that I'm nitpicking at myself for, whereas like I've asked my friends and they're like, we didn't even notice that like when we watched it.
Yeah, I'm starting to like notice. So I don't ever notice anyone's like videos when it's like, oh, they should have added text there.
I never do that too.
I never think about that. But I will say there's something about watching like a nicely edited like piece of content where I'm like, whoa, like that inspires me a lot, or I want to create more content like that.
Yeah, I remember I was watching a Europe vlog the other day, and I remember you were like, you're very inspired by a lot of the vlogs that you were watching, and I was like, I can see the effort that you put into your like 45-minute vlog.
Wait, thank you. That makes me happy because that was one where like I went into that trip being like, I am going to get a good video.
I loved it. Like I was like running on the treadmill and I was like, wait, I really like this, because I was like, I feel the same way about having a lot of routine content that I do at home. And I think especially even coming here, I've already felt like I feel like a new person when I'm here, especially when it comes to creating content.
Yeah. I feel like you just have to kind of get out of your comfort zone to be a little bit more inspired. So yeah, that's how I feel whenever I'm traveling. I've been on like a Europe kick lately where like that's like all the content I watch and the creators that I watch. And I went, obviously, I just had the trip there, and I'm going back in, like, August, September.
Oh, you are? Okay.
I'm so excited.
Oh, my God.
And, like, I don't know, I've just been feeling so inspired by the continent.
Yeah.
Like, all those countries. Yeah. But I've been, like, really wanting to make more content like that. And it's weird because, like, New York used to be that, like, place of inspiration for me. And I haven't really felt that way here as much. Okay. But I want to get back into it. Like, I'm trying to, like, find the sparkle in the city again, and I don't know, I haven't felt that in a long time. But you just recently moved here. You're doing like a stint here.
For a month.
Okay, why is that? Like, what brought the move? What, you're originally from San Francisco or like the Bay Area and came here, like what made that decision?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just backtracking, I think I've always wanted to try living in New York for the longest time. I mean, there's a running joke between my friends at home, like growing up, that of my friend group, I would probably have been the one to have moved the furthest away, just because every college I applied to, not every, but like a majority, I'd say 80% was in the East Coast. Did not end up happening. I went to Berkeley, which is like 45-minute drive from home. Yeah. But I think just like I've always tried to like try something out here, and then I think this year, just like with a lot of like other personal things that have happened, decided that it was time for a change, and I knew I like wanted to do it for myself at the end of the day. I'm lucky enough that my boss is also pretty flexible in the sense that he's allowing me to work from the office here, and so everything kind of worked out. The perfect sublease came along, and I was like, I have to take this.
Yeah. Yeah. And how long have you been here?
I've been here for a week and a half now.
Okay, how has it been? Does it feel different from when you've been here, like, just on vacation?
Yeah, it definitely feels a lot different. I think just because I'm like between going to the office, socializing, and like doing content stuff, I think it's been very rejuvenating. And a lot of my friends have been asking me, and I've been telling everyone, I feel very alive this past week and a half being here. And I think the past 6 months, I'd say, I just felt like I was in a rut. Just felt like I was going through the motions of things, and I think being here has allowed me to be a lot more present. I feel like I have a social life, and while it has been exhausting, I feel like back to back every single day, I haven't really had time for myself, but I think it's been nice in the sense of just being surrounded by a lot of like inspiration in the city.
Yeah, yeah. And I know that you recently went through a breakup, so you were dating in college.
Yeah.
You just broke up like 2 months ago, you said?
Yeah.
So, and he also lives in New York City, and I know that when last time we talked, you were kind of going back and forth, like doing the whole long distance thing back and forth. How has that been being here, like, for yourself? Because I love what you said, that you're like doing this for yourself, because I think it's so important to do. I feel like that was something when I went through my breakup, I made a list of things. Like, I literally made a list in my notes, and I was like, this is everything I am going to do for myself post breakup.
It's so important to have that.
Yeah. And it was like, it distracted me. It made me like develop such deeper friendships. I have had a really great, I mean, it's been hard obviously, but really great like 2 years since it's happened. It's almost been 2 years now. And like, I feel like doing things for yourself makes you so much more comfortable being single. Yeah. But like, how has it been being like choosing to come here, which very proud of you for still coming here, like since that time.
I mean, the city holds a lot of memories because every single trip I've been on outside of my high school trip coming here to look at colleges has been with him here. And I think the city holds a lot of memories in a lot of different corners. I knew coming here would be kind of rough in that sense, just because, you know, walking around the city, like you kind of reminisce on a lot of the good memories that you have. And we had a very amicable breakup. It was mostly just, you know, like you're navigating your 20s and just like there was kind of like no end in distance in sight. And so I kind of felt like I owe it to myself to try living in the city, because at the end of the day, it's always been that dream of mine, you know, like even when we were together, it would have been for us. But I think now it's like I owe it to myself to at least try, because I think I was always very hesitant because I'm very close to my family at home. But after the breakup, my parents were like, you know, you need to do something by yourself. Like you should try, you know, either solo traveling or doing something that you've always wanted to do. And I did think about going to Asia for a month. And then ultimately was like, well, I've always wanted to be in the city. And I think it'd be really good just personally and professionally, growth-wise. I mean, it's been fine. We have met like for coffee and stuff. And I think, you know, like we're still on very good terms. It's just like a matter of us recognizing that right now may not be the right time.
Yeah, that's so hard, I think. Yeah. I think sometimes like, I think amicable breakups are honestly it's so much harder than like angry breakups because I haven't really had, I'm actually thinking back to all my relationships. I've had 3 boyfriends in my lifetime. But all my relationships ended pretty amicably. Yeah. Like none of them were very like angry. I had one where like after we broke up, I became angrier at certain things, but like the actual breakup itself wasn't like that. Yeah. And I always think like that my previous relationship definitely ended like with us on very good terms. And I always think that that's like the hardest because it's like you just like it's just not working, but like you want it to so badly.
Yeah, because it's like one part of you is like this could work out, but the other part of you is like, but there are also other factors that aren't working out. And I think it's important to recognize that maybe this is the time to just focus on yourself for the time being. Yeah. It's funny because when I was going through my breakup, I did watch your old content because I remembered because most of my friends at home are very single. And so I think for me, I was like, it just felt nice to kind of hear someone that had gone through a similar thing. And like, because I did watch your content or listen to it too, like when you were going through it like 2 years ago. But I think now it's like, it hits different because I related to so many points that you like made. And I was like, to see how much you've grown as a person and also just like throughout the last 2 years, I think has helped also give me inspo and like hope that, you know, things will get better.
Yeah. And I can say like I always can't believe, I'm like, wow, I can't believe it's almost been 2 years.
Time
like
flies.
That's actually insane. And we also were not like no contact or anything afterwards. Now we are like I haven't spoken to him in months. But it wasn't like we have to be no contact. It's just like over time it just like fades, you know, as you live your life and like do other things. So for me, I think it doesn't feel like that long because like we were kind of catching up in between every few months or so. But it's definitely like I look back at my life and I'm like, I've changed so much. Like I was 26 when we broke up. Now I'm 28, obviously. It's been almost 2 years. And I am like, I think I've matured so much as a person. I've developed such deeper friendships. I've just like, I think I've become a better person since we've broken up and like just being single. I don't think it was the fact that like we aren't together anymore. I think it's just like I needed time for myself and I needed to be single. Like that was like the biggest thing that like if anyone's listening and you are scared of being single or you're scared of being alone, it is scary, but it's also like you grow so much. And you actually have a lot of fun. Like I'm sure New York has been fun for you even if it really has been hard.
Yeah, like I think like there have been moments where I will just like, you know, like get sad and like kind of like it's mostly just like reminiscing on the memories. But I think also I have so many friends here. I mean, the first week I was here, a bunch of my like home friends were here because of like Memorial Day week. And so it felt nice to have them. And I think here it's just been, there's so many things to do, so many people to meet up that I think ultimately I've just been kind of running around the city. And I think that's been helpful because in the past, you know, like would spend most of my time with him because obviously like I was here for a shorter amount of time. And I think being here has allowed me to even just understand myself better in the city. I mean, this is so funny, but like in the past, I kind of used to avoid taking the subway.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I didn't really know how to navigate it by myself. And I think this trip, I was like, you know, I'm here for a month. I can't be Ubering everywhere. So it's been nice to figure out the subway by myself.
It's honestly the little things like that where you notice, you're like,
yeah,
I'm maturing.
Yeah.
Growing.
Yeah.
I took the subway alone. And
yeah.
It's okay if you mess up or if you like don't figure it out. It's just like doing it on your own.
Yeah.
For me, it's been actually like the funny thing like with that where it's like I never used to do like this alone.
Yeah.
It was always like I would never like cook for myself or like just me or like even like the little errands like going grocery shopping or like hanging something on my wall. Like things that I was like, I have a boyfriend. I can just like do this.
Yeah.
Like I can like shut my brain off in this department and like he can like do all of this stuff. It's like it forces you to be really independent because I feel like both of us are pretty independent in our careers. We have our own goals, we have our own dreams, whatever. But when it comes to like the little things,
the little things, because sometimes I'm like, I noticed it the other day when I was with my friend and her boyfriend and he was navigating. I kind of just like lost my train of thought. I was just like, I'll just follow along.
Just take a back seat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's where you notice like, okay, that's where you gain independence and you become like really comfortable being alone.
Yeah.
I was talking to my friend the other day about this, and I kind of want to do like a whole episode on this, like even a solo episode.
Yeah, I mean, I've been loving your solo episodes.
Thank you. But even like talking about how comfortable I've been being single and how it kind of like, because I really do want a relationship and like I want to like find someone eventually and stuff. But you get to a point where you are so comfortable being single and you enjoy it a lot. Like I like waking up in the morning and having my routine and like doing whatever I want and going to bed at whatever time I want and like watching what I want to watch at night and doing, you know, like cooking what I want to eat and going where I want to go and like you're incredibly selfish, like in a good way, you know, when you are single. And so now I'm like, oh my gosh, someone's going to come in and like disrupt that.
I think like, cause it's like, you know, like ultimately hopefully it's like, you know, you're going to be with a person for a very long time, whatever your soulmate or your person you end up marrying is. But like in the meantime, it's like you can be selfish for yourself.
Yeah. And I was also talking to a friend about this who we were both kind of like, we go through phases where it's like, okay, like we aren't even talking to someone or we don't even like have a crush on someone. Like we're, you know, like that's kind of sad sometimes.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, hopefully, like you said, I'm with the person I'm going to be with for the rest of my life. I'm going to be in a relationship for the rest of my life when I find that person.
Yeah.
And I was someone who was always in relationships. So I was in a relationship pretty much from 17 to 26. So, or did I break up with him in 27? I don't know when we broke up actually, what age, but yeah, whatever. I was with someone for 10 years pretty much. And to the fact that like I haven't been, this is my only like 2-year stint of being single.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if it's 2 years out of the rest of my life, like that's like not bad.
Yeah.
And I was watching I think it was Bethany Frankel posted a TikTok about this, and she was like, the most common thing she hears from girls in their 20s is, I want a relationship, I want to find my person, that's the goal. And the most common thing she hears from women in their 50s who have been like divorced, let's say, is, wow, I wish I didn't rush into this, or I wish I took my time, or I'm never going to get married again, I am going to be single now. And she was saying like the mothers aren't communicating enough with their daughters of like, you don't need to rush this.
Yeah,
like you can have fun being alone, or you can like take your time finding someone. You don't need to settle and like do things for yourself, because then when you're in your 50s, like are you going to regret moving too fast or like just settling?
Yeah, I think that's been what my parents have told me, and I think it's also been nice like living at home and having them, because during the breakup, like they were reminding me of like these little things too, and I think it really helped a lot. Yeah,
you just start realizing like what you want out of your life, and like now you're able to come to New York and completely on your own terms.
Yeah, exactly.
Like exploring, like what are some things that you've done, I guess like more speaking along the lines of like doing things for yourself, like what are some things that you were or are excited for of like doing things on your own, or things that you've wanted to do?
I have been saying yes to a lot of like cool events and like opportunities. Like I think being in the Bay, it's really I feel like there's not much that happens there, and I think coming here I had like I knew I was going to say yes, like different events. And I think just like I'm going to a few like next week, and I've really never been to many events, like I think content side. So I think it's like really exciting for me, a little bit nerve-wracking, but mostly exciting. And just like I think in general, just like being able to hang out with my friends more. I have a lot of like college friends here, and previously I felt bad if I took a long like extra time to like go out of my way to like hang out with them and stuff, because I knew like, you know, like my ex-boyfriend was like here and I was here to like spend time with him. So I think just having that quality time with my friends has been really, really nice, because again, like I don't see them very often anymore. And it feels like, it just feels very like heartwarming to be able to do that.
Yeah. And I will say, like, after college, it's so much harder to see friends, and it's so hard to like develop those deep friendships, but especially when you're in a relationship, because obviously you're going to prioritize like the person you're with, you know, like I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it sucks when you like completely neglect your friends, but like of course your priority is going to be your relationship. So when you are post-grad and you're single, like you're able to really develop these good friendships, especially if your friends are single also. It's like the most fun
it
times,
is.
I think.
Yeah, because I think like a lot of my friends are kind of going through similar situations where a lot of them are also going I don't know, I feel like a lot of people are breaking up recently.
Oh yeah, and post college, like, that's when everyone either gets married or breaks up. It's like
like I feel like when I was going through my breakup 2 months ago, I just started seeing, it was like two of my friends the month before also had gone through breakups, and then I keep seeing like random other like content friends that I've been friends with, and I'm like, oh, they're going through a similar thing too. Yeah. And I'm like, it must be breakup season right now.
I mean, what month? It's June. Like people just graduated college also, where it's been like the 1 year out. It's like, it's the time for that to happen. But I think that's so fun. And like, I think it's obviously like, it's hard and it's not linear. And it's like, you go through phases when you're crying and you're really sad and you're, you know, heartbroken. But then the upside to it is that you do get to like really find yourself. And
exactly.
It's so cheesy. But like, I swear, like 2 years out, it really is like I'm like so proud of myself.
Yeah, definitely.
And I feel like I never felt that way about myself before. You know, I was never like proud of myself. Like, but with this season, it's like, wow, like I have really like created a life for myself.
Yeah, definitely.
Become way more independent and am really liking my life. Which is like an accomplishment, I think, when you're so used to like being dependent on someone else.
I think especially because there's so many exciting things happening in your 20s that, you know, like even just like looking back a year ago, I feel like I'm such a different person now. And to think that, you know, like I get to kind of like take my own reins on a lot of different things like moving forward. Like I can't wait to see the growth that I have, you know, even in the next few months or the next year.
And I know that obviously like you work in tech, you're here in New York. Are you working remotely or are you going into
I'm in the office.
Okay, so you're going into an office. Are you like, what are kind of like your goals for the next like, even do you have, or I guess backtrack, do you have like a 5-year, 3-year, 1-year plan? Like what are you kind of like living life with, like I'm just gonna do you know, day by day, or kind of like what's been your mantra this summer?
I think when I first graduated I was like XYZ, this is everything I'm going, this is my timeline, like blah blah blah. And I think as the months go by and the years, I'm like, you know, every month I feel a different way about, you know, a potential career path that I wanted to like maybe dive into. And so I think the only thing that I do know is that I think next year I'm hopefully trying to go back to school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for my master's.
That's awesome.
Because I think like my current job, like I've had the privilege of like being able to work kind of like in different roles and have been exposed to a lot of different teams. I think that's really helped me grow in like my career and like my way of like kind of understanding like what I really want to do. And while I don't know the answer to that for like 3 or 5 years, because I think every year looks so different, I think right now my goal is to, you know, continue to gain the experience that I do have in my job, but also ultimately want to kind of enhance like my education next year.
Okay, where do you want to, do you have plans on like where you want to go, or?
So I'm trying to go for a master's somewhere along like data analytics. And so I haven't really looked too deep into it because realistically I'd only be able to go fall 2025. So that's a year, a bit over a year from now. Part of the reason why I'm here this month is also to see like how I would like potentially trying to go to school here, just because I've always had that kind of dream of mine to be here. And I think going to school for a year and a half would be a nice way to get that experience in the city, but also like be in a school community, like, and experience the city life also on the side. NYU, apparently you need 5 years of working experience before I can get into the program. Yeah, which is insane. So the only option that I've looked into, I haven't really looked, kind of is like Columbia. So I might be thinking of that. But also, again, I haven't really done my research.
Okay. Wait, that's so exciting. And I think it's so interesting because you post a lot of content about like wellness, like aesthetic morning routines, lifestyle.
Yeah.
But you're also like you work in tech, you want to go to school for data analytics.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like those two are like, I guess, do you ever feel like you're kind of living like a double life, or like, because I'm asking because I feel that way.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I don't fit into a specific niche.
Yeah, I feel that.
I obviously, like, I studied engineering in school. Then I worked in social media as a content creator. And now I'm the founder of a tech company, but I still do like lifestyle content. Yeah. Like, it's just like I'm not in a specific box. Yeah. Which is
But I
great.
love that.
Yeah.
I love that because it's like you get to have so many different kind of like you have a lot of different aspects to your life. And I don't think that, you know, personally, like, I don't think that we need to fit into like a specific box. Like, you know, like, I mean, I changed my mind about a lot of different things over time. I mean, even just speaking content wise, I did start off with a lot of like routine, like wellness stuff. And I think recently I still do kind of like that, but it's more so now like day in the life, like beauty stuff. Cause I've been weirdly in a beauty rut not beauty rut, like beauty kick recently, and just kind of exploring different content ideas. I think working in tech, I think the most common question that I get actually is if I would ever do content full time. And my answer up until this point has been no, because I think the nice thing about me working kind of in the data field at work is the fact that I get to work a different part of my brain that I don't use for content. And if I were to do something more creative, I think that would take away my joy from creating content. And so, because for me, creating content started off in school, it was always a creative outlet for me. And that's kind of the reason why it still keeps me going. And so I don't want to take that away. Like, honestly, it feels like a second job, full-time job at this point. But again, like, it's nice to have both sides of my brain kind of working.
Yeah, I always felt that way too. That's why I never just did content. Like, I always had something else that I was doing because I love creating content as an outlet, as a fun hobby, you know, and obviously it's a hobby that makes money. Yeah. But it's one of those things. And yeah, like you said, it does feel like a job sometimes. Yeah. Like sometimes I'm like drowning and I'm like, oh my God,
exactly.
I'm so tired
like
of this.
It comes during the worst weeks at work sometimes, and I'm like, great, this is another thing on my to-do list I need to get done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I like what you said, how you're using that other part of your brain, where I think too many people think that you're either like one side or the other. Like, you're either creative or you're analytical. You're either like nerdy or you're girly. You're either this or that. And it's like, you can like fashion and beauty and skincare and whatever else, and also be smart and like work in a field that maybe is like a harder field to work in, or you work in tech, or you work in a male-dominated field or whatever it is, and you don't have to fit that like box. And I think I always tried doing that. Like, when I was in school, for example, I started posting like day in the life as an engineering student or week in the life as an engineering student. Yeah. And I remember thinking, who is going to care about this? Like, this doesn't fit like my typical content, which was like fashion and makeup at the time. And then it got such a positive response. And I still get messages to this day. Like, I've been out of school for 6 years now, which is crazy. I feel like an actual grandma, but out of school for 6 years now. And people will still message me today, like, you're the reason why I went into industrial engineering.
That's amazing.
I know. And I'm like, wow, that is like the coolest thing ever.
You have impact on kids that are trying to decide what they want to go into. And I think when they, especially in a male-dominated field, look up to like a woman that has done that, I think it gives a lot of like just positive affirmation that they should go after what they want to do, despite it being, you know, potentially like a male-dominated field.
Yeah, and also like similar to you, how you're going into, you know, you work in tech, you're going into data analytics. It's like I'm sure when you tell people that, they're like, and then they see your Instagram, it's like, wait, what? I don't get it. Yeah. But it's just the fact that like you're able to like whatever you want. You're not, you know, you don't have to fit into this one mold. And I think it hurts so many people that might want to go into that. Like, maybe someone really wants to, you know, break into the tech world, or they want to go into engineering, or they want to go into STEM. And they're thinking, okay, well, I'm a girl, so that's already like a minority in it. Yeah. I am really girly, and I like, you know, these like fun, cutesy things, and I like taking photos, and I like caring about like my outfits and whatever it is. Like, maybe I don't like fit into this environment. Yeah. Like, maybe I should do something else instead. And like, no, you can do both. Like, I just like always want to tell people that, like, don't not go into something just because like you don't think that you fit into that box.
I think it's interesting that you bring up that point, because I think growing up in the Bay, especially in the heart of Silicon Valley, I kind of I think backtracking to like high school, it's really common there to have like coding camps. Like, everyone there wants to be a software engineer essentially. And I think for the longest time I kind of like crossed that off my list, because I was like, I've had interesting experiences where it just felt like I didn't belong, and it really felt like some people, like some of my like classmates or just like peers, would kind of like not look down, but in a way, because they could grasp it faster, or just like, you know, like I felt like maybe I wasn't cut out for that. And so for the longest time, kind of like cut out any STEM fields. So in college, I pursued a business degree and really thought I was going to go into like marketing or something like more, I guess you could say like girly and like creative. And then it wasn't until I was in this job and now like, and then when my boss wanted me to like try something a bit more technical, I was like, wait, I actually really enjoy the satisfaction of, you know, figuring something out along like my SQL code. I mean, it sounds so, but I think it's like, I kind of wish I had that in me to like believe that I could do it back when I was like a teenager, which is hard because like I think back then, like whatever I felt and kind of felt like I was being told, I just believed. And I think now, deciding to go back to school is also like a decision I'm making for myself, because I'm like, I know I can do this and it's something I'm interested in. I think it could really benefit my career too down the road, combined with my business degree and other aspects. So it's just nice and liberating knowing that, you know, you can do it despite the outside noise.
Yeah. And I love that, what you said about how like you actually find satisfaction in like doing these like challenging things. And of course it's not for everyone. It's not like
definitely
saying that you have to go into it. But what makes me sad is that I think so many people don't go into it because of what outside noise, like you were saying, is like telling them. Like I am really lucky that I grew up in a house where that was really encouraged to go into that. Like my parents pretty much forced me to go into that field, which there's like pros and cons to that too. But I never felt like, oh, I can't do it because of this. You know, my parents always were very supportive in like my YouTube channel and me going into like the tech world or me going into engineering. And like, I saw that support at home. So thankfully I had that, because if not, I definitely wouldn't have done it, because everyone on the outside was telling me not to do it. Like I remember I had a classmate who was actually a friend of mine. It was like half of our friend group. We had like a friend group in high school. And this person probably doesn't even remember that they said this, but like I remember, you know? And it was a friend group of ours. And it was like half girls, half guys. And like half of us were going into engineering. Like, and I think maybe like 4 or 5 of us were going into, we were declaring our major as like engineering when we were applying to school. And it was 2 girls, me and one of my girlfriends that were also doing it. And like 3 of the guys were also declaring it. And I remember this one guy friend of mine who was telling us, he was like, yeah, you know, statistically, like, I don't know, like half of you aren't gonna end up like doing engineering, and like it's definitely gonna be like me and the other girl.
That
like
makes me so mad.
Like telling me that they're like, I don't even know why you're like doing it, because like you know, you're probably not gonna graduate in it, and then you're just gonna like waste your credits, you know?
God. Yeah. No.
And I was so angry. I was like, first of all, who like, you don't know that. Maybe statistically, but like it could also be the guys that end up not doing it.
Exactly.
And he was right with the statistics, and the people that ended up dropping it were all the guys. Me and my friend were the only ones that graduated with that degree. So
you guys proved them wrong.
Yeah,
big time.
Like, okay, like that's that. But I just like remember hearing that and being like, wait, should I be doing this? Like, is this gonna be like really hard? Like, am I gonna hate it? Am I gonna like not have friends in school because it's gonna be like all people that like aren't like me, you know, and it really made me like hesitate and doubt what I was doing, but I'm really glad I didn't listen to that noise.
Exactly. Like, you guys succeeded, and like, you guys did it for yourself.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. And so I like that what you were saying, how like you're kind of doing things, you know, that challenge you and more for yourself, and like you don't necessarily want to be a full-time content creator, but it is that like creative outlet for you. How do you balance the creative side of it though, and like a full-time job? Because I got this DM the other day, which I was actually really happy. I was like, perfect, Crystal's coming on. She was like, I love when you talk about people like starting businesses, but I want to hear from someone that has a 9-to-5 and is balancing content creation. And I'm like, okay, great, I have the right person.
I get that question a lot. Honestly, I wouldn't say the word is balance, just because I think the nature of my company too, it's hard because it's a global company, and there are times when I still work like 11 p.m. midnight. And so, but then that also means like some days maybe my mornings are freer, some days my nights are busier, some days my nights are like freer. So it really depends on the day. I think for me, I just like have had to like figure out, you know, like whether that means sacrificing, you know, like your lunch or like your weekends. I think at home, like my weekends, my friends know this, it's like basically all the content stuff that I need to get done for the week. I think also at this point, content has become kind of like second nature, where like I don't really think about as much as I used to before. So for me also, I think living with the fact that, you know, I'm creating content based on my life, not curating my life for content, has been really helpful too, because at the end of the day, kind of just setting up my camera and just continuing to do what I do. And then for work, it also just means like, you know, sometimes I do have later nights because after work I am editing and I have a campaign due the next day, or just sacrificing like, you know, waking up earlier to be able to fit in those hours to edit, to brainstorm content, to look at my emails. I think a lot of it goes behind the scenes, and I'm also thankful now I have management that handles a lot of the stuff that I used to not be able to like keep up with. And yeah, I think honestly balance isn't the right word. I think it's more so just, you know, like I think for me, like my priorities are, you know, of course I still see my friends, I still spend time with my family, but also right now I'm very much in like kind of my, I guess you could say, very career oriented phase. And I think it's nice knowing that, you know, during the flexible hours of my job, I do have the time in between to squeeze in that some content work, and then ultimately it is like making a decision for yourself, like what are you willing to prioritize and sacrifice.
And I will say that with after a breakup, throwing yourself into your career, best distraction, the best distraction. That's when I feel like I'm like the most like successful. It's like post breakup.
You have that drive in yourself.
Yeah, you do. And you're like, okay, well, I don't want to think about anything else. So like, let me think about this, you know?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
it's a great outlet, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I don't think their balance is the right word. I think it's more just like prioritizing. Like, and I love what you said about like, you're not creating your circle, like, what did you say? Curating your life around content? Yeah, you're curating your content around your life. Yeah. That is so much better, because a lot of times people think like, okay, well, my life is boring. Like, who cares? I have to like live this exciting life. And you don't. Yeah. People like boring.
Exactly. Like, I think also for me, my parents told me this when I first started taking content more seriously. They were like, you know, ultimately we want you to still stay true to yourself and like not, you know, maybe kind of like over exaggerate things online and like kind of live like in a way a fake life, because he said it's not going to be sustainable. And I think ultimately I've always carried that, like, hopefully my content exceeds that. I am trying to be as authentic and realistic to my life as possible, because I want to have that community that, you know, relates to me and that I feel like I could be friends with in real life if I were to see them.
Yeah. And I think, like you were saying, it's not sustainable to live a fake life. So if you are someone creating content and you are making your life look way more exciting and fun and doing things solely for content, you are going to burn out.
Yeah, for sure.
You're not going to do well.
Yeah.
And you probably won't be successful. Like, I'm sorry, but you won't.
Yeah,
like,
because it's going to be hard to stay consistent too. And I think that's a big thing about creating content. Like, you're not going to do well unless you know, like, post consistently nowadays.
Yeah. So what's your schedule though when it comes to like brainstorming, or not schedule, but what's your system? Like, do you have a list of ideas? Do you plan your content? Do you batch film? Like, what are the technical things that you do to like actually get it going? Because I love your videos.
Thank you.
They're so well done. They're so aesthetic. I use yours as like inspiration.
Oh, thank you.
Never looks like yours, but like I love the style of your content.
I think now it's different at home versus here. So at home, it's a lot more routine because my life is very routine at home, just because not much is going on. So I kind of go between, I think I have like pretty consistent kind of like content topics that I kind of go around. So whether that's like kind of like, I've been doing a lot of like after work vlogs and stuff because I think I've been trying to push myself to do different things at home too. So I think having those and then, you know, getting ready in the morning before work, I have to get ready anyway, so I might as well film it. Same with like after work, if I have to run errands, I might as well film it because I'm doing it anyways. And so I think at home it's mostly I've been doing like after work stuff, get ready with me, sometimes like outfits and routines, like self-care stuff that I do on the weekends or mornings. Here, I feel like it's so... I was telling someone the other day, I was like, it feels so nice here that I just feel like I want to take out my phone everywhere I go. So I just have so much content. And I think here it's been more like day in the life in New York City, like outfits because I dress up a bit better when I'm here. And just like whatever else in between, like new cafes, like stuff like that. But I think in terms of like actually editing and stuff, I always edit in bed before I go to sleep. It kind of puts me to sleep. And I'm like, you know, might as well get something out of the way. I would prefer to be able to read or like do something, you know, not on my screen, but I think honestly I'm just on my phone before bed.
Okay, I like that advice because there's too many podcasts you'll listen to where people are like, I put the phone away, I don't bring it into the bedroom at like, 8 p.m. I read 100 pages, I drink my tea, and I get 8 hours of sleep, and it's like, okay, I don't do that. So.
Like I look at those and I'm like, I would love to be able to say I read a book this year, but I honestly haven't. I've read pages when my eyes physically get tired from staring at a screen. But yeah, like because of my schedule, it's like in order to get my content out, I kind of need to do that. And I don't mind it because to me, it's still therapeutic.
I think it's because you have your like normal job. So this isn't like, this is like you were saying, like that fun thing that you're working on.
I think just like apps wise, I use CapCut to edit. Like I kind of tell everyone like it's one of the better apps I've used. Also just because I like doing like the typing effect on it. And I think so editing wise, kind of just like raw cut my files, add some text, and then just kind of upload it.
You don't do voiceovers, right? Like
I sometimes do.
Okay.
I've been trying to talk to the camera more this year. Okay. I used to do a lot more voiceovers because my manager was like, we'd love to see you talk to the camera. And I think for the longest time I shied away from it. And suddenly something in me clicked a few months ago where I was like, I'm going to start doing it.
So your vlogs are now, because I haven't seen your like day in the life as much. I see more of like your aesthetic, like routine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay. I don't know. I need to start watching them so that I get recommended them because like the algorithm's
been a bit funky. I don't see my friends anymore either.
Yeah, it's actually really annoying. But I always hear like aesthetic like So are you like talking like, are you like holding the camera like this and like talking to the camera?
I've done that here because I feel comfortable doing that outside. But I think at home it's more so like, for example, my after work vlogs, I'll talk in the car like, oh, I just finished work and I'm heading over to like either get dinner with my friends or like Whole Foods. I'll like talk to the camera that, and then I'll show like the clips of me actually going out or like going to the grocery store or something, and then like unwinding for bed. So I kind of fit in like different like parts of like my old routine style content into it, but I think overall it's more like vlog style now, just because I think people really like being able to follow you along on your day and just following you around, which I didn't think was very interesting at first too, as you mentioned before, but you kind of realize that it's nice even for me to look at people's content and be like, oh, it feels like I'm up to date on their life, and like I'm just, you know, part of like, it feels like I'm FaceTiming them and I'm in their friend circle.
No, I love that. Are you a front camera person or a back camera?
Back camera.
For everything?
Mostly. I think here the lighting in this apartment has been really good, so front camera works, but at home if you want that crispy content, back camera.
So like your get ready with me's or makeup, you like flip it?
But like I flip it and then I put it in front of a mirror because I'm like, I ultimately want to see that I'm in the frame and it's still focused, because I don't know, something about the new iPhone, at least for me, it's been out of focus a lot recently.
And do you put it like on a tripod?
Yeah.
Okay, because I have like these sticky things.
Oh,
so it's so much.
Oh, wait. I haven't seen those before.
I know, like the little ones.
Yeah.
Like
the big ones are really gross. I recently got one that is like the MagSafe one, so I can just pop it on and off, but I honestly never use it.
So I use this all the time.
Okay.
But it's then front camera only.
Yeah.
So like I need like a little tripod or something that I travel with that I can like, do it like that.
Yeah, I think the back camera, people have commented too. They're like, oh, like, how is your quality so good? I think for me, again, I think going back to the perfectionism thing, I think for me, when I see that it's crispier and like better lighting, I think it makes me a lot happier in a way.
I really hope iPhone improves their front camera quality because it just makes it so much easier. But you're right, the audio or the quality is like never as good.
Yeah,
ever.
Exactly. Like I wish so too, because I think filming on the back camera sucks because I have this whole setup in my room where like the mirror is right there and sometimes it's like propped. I have like a small mirror if I want to use the window, but I'm like, obviously there's no mirror on the window. I prop it up on a random stool and then I put my tripod in front of it. And I'm like, it would be so nice if the front camera worked so I don't have to do this.
Yeah. I think there's like something I saw on TikTok Shop though that's like
the video thing that like can link to your
I think it's like a monitor for your phone. I might buy that.
Yeah, I was thinking on it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let you know how it goes.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
Because I do prefer back camera also. But it's like the little things like that like other people probably don't notice, but like I notice as someone who is a creator, like for my own content. Like I wouldn't have been able to tell, but maybe it's a subconscious thing where like I really like your videos because they are good quality. You know, so it could be both. Do you get scared to film in public?
Yes.
Do you? I
hate it at home. I never do it at home.
Okay.
I think it's different at home because like I've tried at grocery stores. Like sometimes I'll find like an empty aisle and be like, okay, now's the time to like do it. But I think at home it's a very different crowd.
Yeah.
I don't think to begin with there's a lot of content creators in the Bay as opposed to like, New York, LA, like even Miami. I feel I have a lot more friends there that I know that do it.
Yeah.
When I'm here, though, I see people carrying on their physical tripods on the streets in New York and having photographers and stuff. So I think for me, I feel like, oh, this is normal. Like, no one's going to really judge. No one's really looking at you. And so
I don't know why I get scared here.
Really?
Because there's so many people. Like, literally, I get more scared here than in like anywhere else. I think because you're always surrounded by people.
Yeah.
And like even if they don't care, I just like hate doing it. Yeah. People. Like,
but then I tell myself, I'm like, I know I'm the biggest. I feel the same way, but I think like last week I went to Polen, like the bag store, and I was like, I'm gonna film this. I'm gonna talk to the camera while I'm walking there. Just like a quick 10 seconds, like I'm walking to the Polen store, gonna help me pick out a bag or something like that. And I think doing little things like that, I'm never gonna be the person that's like ranting on her phone, like crossing the streets. But I think just like even a few seconds here and there helps boost that confidence. Because then after that, I'm like, oh, that wasn't that bad.
I know every time I do it, I'm like, oh, that was fine. But like, I don't know why. I just never.
I feel that. Or like even doing like a fit check, I see so many girls doing it, and I'm like scary because I'm like I look kind of awkward doing it because it's not my like second nature to do it, and so it helps though when I have a friend. But other than that, sometimes I still get a bit hesitant.
If I have a friend, I'm like totally fine. Who cares? Fine. But I don't know. We gotta do some like, exposure therapy.
Yeah, exactly.
Get used to it.
Yeah.
But what else? Okay, so you're here in New York for a month. What's your plan after this month? Like you're going back to the Bay, or do you think that you'll like this is the month trial to see if you make the full jump?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go back. I'm going back to the Bay for sure. Not I think. I am going back to the Bay. And then I don't know. I do want to travel end of this year and have that experience. So for me, like maybe I might try to do another sublease here in the fall. I think coming in the fall will be really pretty. But other than that, it sucks though because like right now for work, it's not like I can really transfer because they're pretty strict on us sticking to our base office and going into office 3 times a week. So I just feel lucky that my boss allows me to come here for like weeks at a time. And so just moving forward, we'll probably just do that until maybe next year's when I really want to start thinking like, if I go to school, like, will I come here? Or like for my future job, would love to at least do a year here or something like that.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I can see you in the city.
Yeah.
City content.
Thank you.
I know it's a short stint.
Yeah. But trying to make the most out of it.
Yeah. No, I love it.
Yeah.
So where can they find you? Where can they like follow along and like see all your stuff?
It's Crystal Tan on all my platforms, whether that's TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, but I don't really do YouTube anymore.
Are you big on Pinterest? Like,
I used to be
it a lot.
Yeah, I used to when they had the creator program, because they had reached out like I think it was like 2 years ago, and then I was like posting a lot on there, and like It was nice because I think Pinterest is nice in the sense that you don't really feel like you're stuck in a comparison trap because like it's kind of just all strangers that I'm looking at their photos and pinning them. So it was nice, and it's really easy. Like you just repost your stuff. I think to this day now, sometimes I'll do it. I'm not as consistent on there anymore.
Yeah, I gotta get more on like Pinterest also.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on my podcast.
This was nice and fun.
This was so much fun. I'm glad that we got to talk. We really talked a lot about like heartbreak, breakups, content, career,
New York City.
Like this was like, I was like, okay.
It's like a catch up.
I know. Literally, yeah, because you and I haven't seen each other. I mean, we only met once prior to this.
Yeah, like in person. And that was when I first started working.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that was my second week of work, actually.
Yeah, it was like October of...
like 2022.
Yeah, 2022. Yeah. Wow. Okay. And that was actually... Was that?
It was Tech Week for... Right? No, not Tech Week, but you were there.
Yes, I was there to pitch.
Yeah.
But did I... Yeah, that was actually... like a month and a half after my breakup.
Oh,
so now we're meeting.
Now we're like,
it's like right after yours.
Yeah.
So this is good. Next time we'll see each other, we'll both be in relationships.
Yes, we'll have a different catch up.
Yeah, wait, that's so funny. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Of course. Thank you for having me.